WJPZ HD1 Syracuse. C89's got you covered with everything you need to know. And some things you don't. Your weekly dose of news, the way you want to hear it. C89 presents Orange State right now.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on to the next issue. Let's talk about urban development, specifically the downtown area. 7 seconds, go.
The government of New York State just established a new program called the New York State Historic Tax Credit. That credit can be used for development downtown Syracuse.
It's beautiful. That's beautiful. I like that a lot. What do you think, Matt?
I think that's wonderful. And, so you really want to help the historic buildings in Syracuse? Is that essentially what you're saying as well?
And not only the historic buildings,
right.
We need to take care of the development that we have downtown.
Okay.
And we can do this by using credits that the government has allowed us to use. We have what is called a federal historic tax credit.
Okay.
That's already on the books. But with the governor of New York State signing the New York State tax credit coupled with the federal, it makes the deal workable, in which a developer can get up to 30% of his money that he put in, dollar for dollar returned to him. So, in essence, to make this very clear and very understandable, the numbers works for developers, and they can develop without taking a beating.
Very interesting. And specifically about housing, one of the things that you've mentioned is there's a SUNY ESF study about housing that was done in 2005.
That's right.
Tell me more about this study and how you plan to use it.
Okay, and here's where our government has dropped the ball.
Okay.
And I don't want to beat up past administrations or what have you, but we have to have a clear focus and a clear view on how we're going to go about doing this. And if you look at that SUNY ESF study, they put together a very comprehensive study as to how the city can move forward in improving its housing stock for landlords, for homeowners, for renters, and their responsibility in this equation. It's an excellent study, and that's what we need to put into effect. Look, we have the greatest educational institutions in the state, right here in Syracuse. Upstate Medical, Syracuse University, SUNY ESF, Lemoyne College.
And the students are listening and hearing you, and they're loving the compliment, by the way.
Hey, and we have the greatest students. I'm thrilled to have young people like yourself here in this city, but we have to create a dynamic and a vibe that's going to want to make you stay once you leave. I know all of you are going to become Marv Alberts and what have you, but we want to keep you here as long as we can.
Well, this is excellent. I really like this. Should we move on to our next issue, Matt?
I actually just want to ask him one thing.
Yes.
Are you going to be maybe have some programs where you're going to have people from the city coming up maybe to the Syracuse University or SUNY SF to try to get them to stay and try to give incentives for the students to stay in the city?
Yes, once we create the jobs, we must create the jobs to keep you here. And fortunately for us as a city, the areas of growth, eds, meds, construction. The educational field is growing here all the time. You see what our great Nancy Cantor, I love her deeply. She's the bomb. You see what she has done around the campus with these buildings. Now, why can a president of a university or a chancellor of a university do as much as far as building? I mean, she has put building after building after building.
She moved.
That's right. She moves. She's not jiving. She's not taking it easy.
No.
She's getting the job done.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to bring, the same type of energy that I want to bring to the city.
Well, I think that's a great transition to another topic we want to talk about, is we have so many SU students listening. We want to know if you have any plans or ideas of relations with the university. Any ideas for that? 7 seconds, go for it.
Yes, we need to create a dynamic partnership. Partnerships is what's going to help move our city ahead. We have all of these young...
I think that was your 7 seconds. But tell me. Okay.
Sorry. Dynamic partnerships.
I like that, though. Now, specifically, now we do the specifics.
Okay.
Tell me, do you have ideas of how, like the construction projects? I like that. and,
Right.
and making that working. I think that's a great idea, and it's excellent for the city.
Right.
But any particular ideas that you have? Let's get the students involved. Any ways to connect the city, stuff like that? Let's hear them.
All right. When I was Commissioner of Parks and Recreation,
Mm-hmm.
my programs were driven by young people like yourself.
Okay.
From Syracuse University, SUNY ESF,
Mm-hmm.
Lemoyne College, and OCC.
Mm-hmm.
We use those young people to not only develop the infrastructure of our park system, because we use the landscape architects from SUNY ESF, young people like yourself, we use to tutor and educate and mentor our 400 plus youth that we had in our community centers.
Right.
We use the business school to go out and get grants.
Maxwell School of Business is one
There
of the
you
best
go.
ones there is.
No doubt. Hey, everything on Syracuse University is the best that there is. And that's why we have to continue to use young people like yourself.
So getting the people involved, not just in their university settings, but how they can help the city and
That's
better
right.
the city. And I think Nancy Cantor, she's all for that as well.
And that's why she's building this connective corridor.
Yeah.
She is a visionary. And that's the type of vision that we need in leadership in the city government.
Everything you need to know, and some things you don't. You're listening to Orange State on Z89.